Hello everyone, I've got the most amazing guest. Let me see if she's in the broadcast. She'll be with us in one moment. Hope everyone's having an amazing day. Give us 1 second for us all to get set up. How's everyone's day? Write in the comments how everyone's doing. Hope we're all good. Today I have the most incredible guest, Al Grant. Al is an author, she's an event planner, among much more than just that. Al, welcome to Brilliant Speaker. Thank you for being the guest on my show today.
Thank you very much for inviting me. I am really excited to see what we're going to get done tonight.
Me too. So let's get stuck in with the questions. My first question to you, Al, is can you share your story and what led into being such a successful speaker?
It was a really unusual story, really, that started back in Jamaica over 50 years ago. And I came to England when I was 12. I decided very early, because of the abuse I suffered as a child, that I wanted to be independent. And I wanted to be able to make my way, work for myself, not to rely on anyone. So very early, I started studying. I was terrible at school because they didn't really expect anything of us. When I left, I went to night school, and eventually I became a solicitor. And I was a very happy solicitor until 2011, I think, or 12. And there was a riot in Tottenham where I grew up. And I went out into the community because I was an activist. And it really started from then, because I wanted to understand people more, and they were confused and confusing when the issues were so great, and they were backbiting and fighting each other. So I thought, I'll go and find out how to understand people and do an NLP course. And I went to a speaker training course by Andy Harrington, and he almost on the spot, because of his assistant, his MC Tosin, pointed me out as the person who should demonstrate what we had been learning on the 3-day course. And maybe being a lawyer, I don't know, Mark, I went up there, I was talking away about my childhood and better must come, and how I overcame all these things, and that's the motto I lived by, and everyone was deathly quiet. And then they started crying, and he was at the back, and he was I thought, oh my God, this is terrible. But you know, as lawyers, we'll keep talking until someone stops us. And at the end of it, maybe 20 minutes later, he rushed up and he hugged me, and the room erupted, and everyone started clapping. And I thought, oh my God. And the next minute, I had this mic on my ear, something that had never happened to me before. And I think 6 weeks later, I was speaking at Excel for Success Resources. So that's how I came into this. So I kind of came in at the top, and I'm trying to work my way back up.
Well, I think from that story, you have always shown signs of being such a strong woman. And I love hearing stories of how adversity is then turned into brilliance. So I absolutely love that part of your story. And it sounds like you really got the speaking bug. I think all speakers, when they first start, are petrified, and they get on that stage and then you get that bug that you just want to do more and more. We've got a few people saying hi. We've got Joyce
Hi, everyone.
Geiger saying hi, Alan Mark.
Oh, hi,
Samantha
Joyce.
Martin, hi. Jay Sharp saying
Hi,
hello
Fran.
from Florida.
Hi, Jay. I
Please,
know her.
please give Al some love. Feel free to share the broadcast. If you want to ask any questions,
Please do.
type them in. That brings me to my next question, Al. You have been mentored by the one and only Les Brown, and you speak on stages with him. Can you tell us all what that is like? I'm sure it's incredible.
It was and is amazing. And the main thing about Les is because you know what? He walks his talk. He is as genuine as a person as you see him on stage. What you see on stage, there's not a different person off stage. He has a heart of gold. You know, he's been struggling with illness. And when I met him, unknown to me, I was struggling with illness. I had intestinal blockage, which almost cost me my life because I was misdiagnosed. And he really just reached out and cared for me. It wasn't just about, you know, another mentee and being paid. It was about me as a person. And one thing he said to me at the beginning, that I should believe in his belief in me until my own belief grew sufficiently to believe in myself. And I still believe in him. He was like, "You've got a world voice." I love that voice. And, you know, we met in South Africa when I was speaking on stage there for Success Resources. I was like the newbie speaker. He loved speaking in the morning, and I was the first one on as the newbie speaker. And as I was coming off stage, he was coming up the stairs. He looked up at me and he said, "You're good, but I could make you better. I need your card."
I love that.
And the rest was history, you know, the rest was history. Because there was just something about him, and the rest is history. As you can see, I've done 2 Les Brown in London, which, you know, it was part of my mentorship deal with him. And he didn't have to do it, you know. It wasn't just about money for him, it was about supporting me as his mentee. And it's just like magic being on stage because he wants me to shine. So, you know, I remember the first time when we did the event in, it's a place called The Light in Houston, and he popped his head round the door. And I was thinking, oh my God, there was about 700 people there. I thought, oh, I wonder if they're going to receive me well. And I was telling everyone, when he comes on stage, what you need to do is just really big him up. And he popped his head round the door. The place erupted. I never heard so much noise. And it was like, Les, Les, Les. And then they all stood up and he came out, of course. And he came on stage and I bowed and he bowed. We both bowed down to the ground and we couldn't get up. Neither he nor I, because I've not long had an operation. We couldn't get back up. We had to bear each other back up. And that's how our relationship has been, just fun, natural. He's just a really great person. If you get a chance, make sure you see Les Brown.
I love that, Al. And what I like about that story is the fact that he's like what he's like online is what he's like in person, because there's nothing worse than meeting your idols and they're not like what they're showing to be. I'm all about being real and being true, and it's nice to hear that he's what he's showing himself to be. Also, what I like
Yes.
about that is how he's said to you, have the belief what he has in you. That is so encouraging for someone who needs that belief. So I love that, Hal.
It is. And you know, he still does it. You know, when we were in Birmingham and my speech was so well received. I thought, ooh, I'll send it to, I'll send it to Les Brown. He said, do you want some honest feedback? I was like, okay. But everyone said it was good. He said, yes, it was good. But good is not good enough for me. You've got to be excellent. I trained you to be excellent. And you didn't do your story. You didn't do Better Must Come. And I think recently he did a Facebook Live and he did my Better Must Come story. He does it better than I do because, you know, it really touched him. And he was saying that sometimes when he's in pain from the cancer that he has, he remembers that in the morning, better must come. And better must come for him. And that's the impact that a story can have on other people's lives. The things that you up is not an option. And for me now, you know, and with all the wonderful speakers that I'm meeting and learning from their story, that really, if you do not give up and you don't lose hope, then your better really, truly must come. And mine has come. You know, I'm now living my dream as an international speaker, uh, event promoter, and it's hard. It's hard, you know. But as they say, if it was not hard, many people would do it. This is not for the faint-hearted, but it certainly, certainly, Mark, is for those with a story like yours, because the inspiration that it gives others to continue to fight, I don't think you could ever bottle that. You couldn't go into the shop and buy that, you know? And it's not the same like reading a book when you see that person in life and they're standing before you. You can see in their eyes that they're telling you the truth. Like when you were, you know, I don't know, did you know you were having such an effect?
It was one of the biggest events I've ever done, speaking to 150 people. So I just
Get
wanted to
away.
serve. I was just very conscious that I just want to serve everybody in the room. That was my only thing that I was thinking. And I thought, be real, be honest, and be yourself. And that's all you can do.
Well, I'm telling you, the honesty and the harshness, but the hope really, really touched us all. You know, you could see people were crying, and the response has really stayed with you. And that's what a great story does. It makes you remember that person. And even if you forget all the details of the story, you will remember the impact that the story had on you. And that's the power of a story. And that's why we should never underestimate the power and impact our story, because it's our life. We might think, oh, you know, not that story about me nearly dying again. But remember, the audience may be just hearing it for the first time. And you could save somebody's life, turn somebody from drugs. You know, my story has had impact all the way in South Africa, America, Jamaica, and everywhere that Les has been. You know, so I just thank God for that privilege.
You've got a great energy on stage and you command the room. Your energy is high, and I love that about you. And I can see the Les Brown mentoring because it shows on stage. And what I liked about what you said, Al, about Les giving you critique, but in a way that was to help you, because some people
Yes.
give you critique to knock you down, whereas you need to treasure people that can give you critique, but they're doing it to lift you up and not drag you down. And there is a difference between the two. So I like the fact that you've got a person in your life that can give you that kind of critique. So I'm just going to read some of the
Yes.
comments here. We've got Harry Schneid saying hello, great. We've got Shukil saying hi, Althea,
Hi,
looking
Shakir.
great as usual. We've
Thank you,
got Kay Mills
Shakir.
Lander saying hi. Jay Sharp saying wow, that's
Hi, Jay.
powerful. Samantha Martin saying lovely story. Joyce Geiger saying sorry, the sound has gone, but it has come back.
It's come back.
It's come back. That brings, feel free to share the broadcast, people. Feel free to ask questions.
Please share,
And
and
please give Al some love as well.
even if it's in the recording, I'll come back to this and I will answer any questions that's asked. I know that you wanted to know about how to basically become a motivational speaker and what impact your story. So I've really kept to those questions that you asked me before, really to how I look at it, as Les Brown says, and it's in my heart now. He says, never make a point without a story, and never make a story without a point. Because, you know, when you put the power of your story behind a point, you can either do point, 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 and kill people death by PowerPoint, or you can back it up with your story. And now that point has power, the power of your story behind it to illustrate to people. That's why we do so much stories for children, because their imaginations are so fertile and open. But as adults, sometimes we don't want stories. But the power of stories goes straight into your subconscious, and it creates that fertile ground for you to then plant the seed that may save that person's life, career, or just cheer them up for the day.
That is great words of wisdom there about stories and how powerful they can be to put them into people's minds to really help people move forward. So thanks for that. We've got Jay
It's a
Sharp
pleasure.
saying integrity and humility is everything. That brings
Everything.
that brings me to my next question. It can be a hard industry speaking, especially for new speakers or established speakers that are feeling a bit stuck. What tips have you got for speaking success?
Okay, so I think that I was blessed because of the hardship of my upbringing. So I always say never, ever give up. And if you approach speaking that, is this what I have been called to do? And if that answer is yes, if you ask yourself, if I was never going to be paid, would I still keep doing this? Hey, I'm not talking about being a pauper, okay? I'm just saying that when you're looking into your heart and you want to see whether this is the world for you, because it is so hard, then if you just ask yourself, right, if I weren't paid, would I do it? Sorry, this. If I weren't paid, would I do it? Right? Then, if the answer is yes, never give up no matter how hard it gets. Because the more you push at this, the more it's going to work for you. Just don't give up. Seek out those people who are speaking, Go on Facebook, Twitter, etc. Follow and friend those people. Go to events. Do free speaking so you can get the experience, but also try to always get your the video recorded so you can start to market yourself. Also start blogging, vlogging. I would say do some YouTube's live, do Facebook live certainly, and you can also do on Twitter. And anywhere that someone sets up I don't know, two stones together as a stage and they're going to give you some space, then make sure that you are there. That's one of the things that I've always done. And stay on Facebook, stay in touch. The lady is saying I have to move from here. Could you let me just give me another 5 minutes? Yes, she says, okay. Yeah, sorry.
You have really given us a lot of gold today, Al. Video, blogging, speaking for free to get the experience and never giving up.
Yes.
I love those points. J Sharp saying,
But one thing I would add, when you do speak for free, it's not free, it's non-paid. So ask for something back in return. You know, just say, can I video this? Can I bring some people here? You know, just so you can get that experience. And also don't be afraid to actually approach speaker agency, you know, and to say, I really believe in myself. And as you did earlier, you approached me to say, can I speak? And I'm like, yeah, maybe not at this time. And one advice that the Richard Town at Success Resources gave me at my first speaking event was for Success Resources, if you can believe that. And he said to me, Althea, never give up, keep sending the emails, because and send it with a video. That's why it's so important to get a video, get your headshot done, set up a website or your Facebook page, and believe in yourself. Okay? There are lots of people without integrity out there. You'll find them and you'll run away from them as quickly as possible.
so true what you're saying, Alan. You're giving us so many words of wisdom. We've got J Sharp saying that you look beautiful, which you do.
Oh,
I was going to
thank you.
ask you next about, I will quickly ask you the question. A lot of speakers are just saying, give takeaways, give takeaways. I love a good story. Now, I think you have partly answered this question already. What's your opinion on telling stories, Al?
As I said, you know, it gets you inside the subconscious of the person because they relax. You're not taking anything from them, you're giving to them. The takeaway points are things like, you know, never give up because better must come and so on. These are things that they can hold on to and remember about you. But for me, one of the biggest takeaway is your impact and your presence when you're speaking, how genuine you are to them. You know, that's one of the greatest gifts that you can give to people, the gift of your story, the gift of who you are. And I think that people will always remember you.
I totally agree with that. It's so true that a story, it really does stick in people's minds, and I feel a story to people is a gift. So I'm with you on that, Al. Can you tell me what's new for Al and what are you working on right now?
Okay, as we were speaking earlier, what I'm working on is I see a disparity on speaker stages at the moment. I see a lack of diversity in terms of the ethnic makeup, but also in some areas, not in all areas. So I don't see a lot of, say, black people, women, gay people, you know, people with disabilities. We don't see that so much represented on stage. So the lack of diversity and just to have, in many ways, people from one group speaking all over the world to so many different racial backgrounds, ethnic backgrounds, economic backgrounds. I think we need to diversify on that. And as I said before, I credit my sanity and my humanity as a woman to a man, and that's my uncle. And if Uncle Roy had not been around, I don't think I would be who I am today. So I am not a woman who is against men. I love men as a species. You know what I mean? They bring a different energy. But just in that different energy, we also need the female energy. And also, we need those men who are not afraid to delve into that female energy. You know, and that was one of the great things about you, that you were so, I don't know, you just put your heart out there. You know, you weren't just being a tough man. You gave us the meat of your story as if it was just happening, but in that way that just touched us all, you know? So I would say that I want to diversify. December 1st, I'm going to do an event at Millennium Gloucester, and it's going to be about empowering women to be on stage. That's just the start. We're not just going to stick with women. It's across that Black and minority ethnic group, and for those who are underrepresented at the moment. Some of the speakers, Veronica Tan of Success Resources, Raymond Aaron, who spoke for me in January when Les Brown was here. I had an audience of 1,200 people. This
Yay.
time I'm a little less. Yay! And I have Mirella Sula, who runs Global Woman. I have Harry Sardinas, and he speaks and MCs with Success Resources. He's a great resource for me. Viv Armoun is my business partner. I'm going to be speaking. Dr. Neslin, you remember her? She's going to
I
be
do.
speaking. Yes. And we have a few others. Oh, and Tasha Powell Chen out of Florida. We may have Les Brown's daughter, Ona Brown, but I'm not sure about that
Amazing.
at the moment. Yeah. So it's going to be a great event. Maybe 400 people.
Dr. Neslin put me on, someone keep on rushing you. Dr.
Yeah.
Neslin put me on the platform of the Women's Economic Forum. She gave me the opportunity to speak, so I do know Dr. Neslin. Do you want me
Yeah.
to give you a minute while you move places, Al?
Yeah. So I'm just
Al's
going to
just
be a
been
couple of
shoved out
minutes.
of the cafe, so let's just wait
I
for her 1
know.
second, people.
Give me a second, okay? He's putting on his, what they call it, vacuum cleaner. So I'd better go.
I'm sure that could have waited half the way through our live.
I know. But you know, it is life, so these things happen. I was thinking about that when I sat here. I'm taking up my laptop and everything. But yeah, we can continue apart from me not looking at you. I'm not
Okay.
going to leave. I'm just going to go to a quieter section.
Well, what I liked about that, Al, was you're definitely working on lots of things, collaboration, diversity, bringing a lot more people from all different ethnicities, uh, all different backgrounds, sexuality, colour, creed, it doesn't matter, bringing it all together and everyone collaborating together. And I'm big on collaboration and not competition. So that really goes well with
Exactly.
my values too. Jay Sharp's
I'm
asking a question, Al. She's asking,
okay.
what's the biggest lesson learned in the speaking arena industry?
One of the biggest lessons that I've learned, and please don't take it as a negative, take it as a positive, is that although people are big on integrity, many a times there are many people out there they speak integrity, but they don't live it, or
Yes,
they have their own version of integrity. And, you know, I've been there where people have tried to pull me down,
yeah,
uh, But for me, what I have done is really to just decide that I'm not going to go into that negativity.
Yeah.
And what I'm going to do is live my truth, allow them to do some of the things that they do, but to understand that just because they are where they have this version in their heart that there is a lack of speakers or maybe a lack of places, so they'll try and pull you down. The thing is not to get into that negativity, but to understand this. There is no lack in the world. If you plant one grain of corn, you get multiple amount, hundreds. There's like 6 or whatever ears of corn, and then there's so much kernels there. If you look in nature, there is no lack in the world, there is no poverty. It's just how we treat each other. And for me, because I know there's no lack, and because I know there's a place for you, there's a place for Jay, there's a place for myself, there's a place for everyone watching, we just need to find our tribe. And I don't say find our voice, I say use your voice. So if I've learned anything, it's that we need to use what we've got, use it with integrity, use it with honesty, but know that there's a place for you. And no matter what people do, they can't take it away from you.
Oh, I'm glad you brought that back up. You're very welcome, Jay. I like to answer people's questions. And what a great question. And you really touched on a great point. There are a lot of people in the industry with very big egos. And
Yes.
I have had it. I am the most honest, nice person. And sometimes I get
Yes.
people trying to knock me down. But
Exactly.
my comeback from that is keep on knocking me down and watch me get back up 10 times stronger. I agree with you,
Exactly.
Al. A flower does not look at the other flower to see how much it's blooming. It just thrives. Keep on thriving,
Exactly.
people. Have an abundance mindset. Know that people will try and pull you down, but just get up and keep on coming back even stronger.
Keep on getting up. You know, my dad was a boxer, and his most famous fight was in 1962, just before Jamaica got their independence, a couple of nights. And throughout most of that fight, he looked like he was going to lose. And at one point he was on the floor, and although I was watching a short snippet, I felt all the hits that he was getting. But one thing that just watching that taught me, he didn't stay down. He was on his knees, he was being counted out, and he stood up and he won one of the most significant fights in Jamaica, because it was one night before our independence. And if we give up one night before our independence, we are going to lose so much. So don't give up. You know that picture of the guy digging for gold? And that was a true story. And it's told by Napoleon Hill in Think and Get Rich. When you give up, you might be 2 inches from gold. When you stay on your knee, you might just be one speaking engagement from your independence. So never give up. Never give up, and know that yours is out there, mine is out there, and all our tribes who can only hear our voice, Mark's voice, Jay's voice, those people are out there and they're waiting for us and relying on us. One of the reasons why I love Les is because so many people message him and say, I was close to killing myself. And I listened to watched one of your YouTube video or one of his recordings, and I decided to try again. Come on. If we have even a small amount of that effect, it will be such a blessing. It's such a blessing. So don't give up.
Great words of wisdom again. And what a gift Les Brown has got to have saved those lives. And what a legend. That's absolutely amazing. I'm having lots of comments, and I'll I will reply, and Al will reply, but I can't really see them properly now, so it's difficult for me to reply to them. So we'll reply later. Please show
I
Al.
will, definitely.
Please show Al some love. Please share the broadcast. Now that brings me to my next question, Al. I talk about self-leadership and transformation. Can you tell me what self-leadership and transformation means to you?
Okay, for me, I always say that if you are not able to lead yourself, to discipline yourself, to have that never give up spirit, how are you going to teach someone else about this? Is part of the difficulty of the motivational world, that there are many people out there who are not leaders, and they've gone to a course or something, they haven't really taken it in, or they have no life experience, but they want that stage, and it's more about themselves. But if you are fearful, it doesn't mean that you shouldn't go ahead, because if you raise your chin like that and you just go forward, no one's going to know that you're afraid. And that's actually strength and leadership. It's not the absence of the fear, it is actually going on knowing that you're scared. The first case I did as a solicitor, I remember I was at the principal registry, the family division in Russell Square, and my client was like looking, my knees were knocking, and I thought, oh my God, I can't let her see this of me. But when I saw in her eyes the trust, and that she was scared, and this was about her life, my case, I decided that although this was a formidable judge, I'm not coming away without what I want. This is what leadership to me is. It's not the absence. I was terrified. And when that judge looked down, he was like, Miss Grant. I was like, oh God. And then he was horrible to me. But they know when you're fresh meat. Just like the speaking industry know when you're fresh meat. But your strength and your leadership, the strength of your story and how you refuse to give in, that inspires people. When we saw you there, I didn't know that was like one of your biggest audience. I didn't know that at WEF, because we were just focused on you and where you were leading us to, and how inspirational what you were saying was about. And in terms of transformation, it's again the power of a story to transform lives. You know, when I spoke about being a 6-year-old, and as a 6-year-old, my mother came to England, part of the Great Windrush migration. She left me with her aunt, my great aunt, and from the moment that lady looked at me, she hated me. I was 6 years old. And that story, who knew that a story like that would inspire so many people? Who knew? Not me, certainly. When I went to Andy Harrington's course and I was telling it, it was just because I couldn't think of anything else to say. But it has changed so many people's lives, and it changed my life. So never underestimate your power to transform by being natural, by being honest, by being open. Don't let the naysayers stop you. Learn your craft. Find someone who can coach you, but coach you with love and integrity, and who is strong enough to actually critique you, but the criticism builds you and doesn't tear you down. You know that, Mark, because bullies are critics, but they are destructive critics, and you know that. But there are people who will say, you know, Mark, maybe it was so-and-so. Could you look at it this way? Or like Les, you were good. but good is not good enough for my mentee. Only excellent is what I want. And that made me sit up, transform me, and I say, I'm not going to let him down. I'm not going to let the audience down, those people who need me. And certainly trying to make an impact in the speaking world to redress that imbalance. How did I know that this would be a calling for me?
Well, I love that, Al. And it's exactly what I'm about, taking control of yourself. I loved, even if your knees are knocking, do it anyway. And
Anyway, hold your chin up.
transformation, sharing your story to help and inspire other people. I have
Thank you.
thoroughly enjoyed interviewing you today, Al. I would like you to
Thank
share
you.
the event in the comments if you've got any links for the event. Also, you are welcome to tag your event on my timeline. I'm all
Oh,
about
thank you.
collaboration. So when the event's up, tag it on my timeline. We have, I can't see the name. I'm making a platform for others to express their greatness at the Pursuit of Greatness, February the 9th. Absolutely amazing. It's all about
And
expressing
please,
greatness.
please invite, if it's not too far away, invite Mark. You're not going to regret. He is good and he's gonna be great. So trust me, you need him there. You need him there. February 19th, was it?
February
I
the
can't read it.
9th. February
February
the
the
9th.
9th. Okay. And I'll be there in the audience just cheering you on because that's all we can do for each other.
I've really enjoyed interviewing you. Everyone, Alice shared lots of great tips, takeaways. She shared a story. Please show us some hearts. Please share the broadcast.
Thank you.
My last question for you. Jill Shelton said she's looking forward to the event. Jay Sharp says, great interview,
Uh-uh.
Mark. Lots of nuggets from Al. Thank you. My last question for you, Al, before we leave, brilliant speaker. Can you share how people can connect with you? How can people can follow you? How can they come and see you at this great event?
Okay, so for me, my event, the 1st of December 2018, is the first of many. And how I look at it is if we train speakers, right, and then you are not the stage that they speak on, then maybe you're a bit afraid that your training is not that good. So if I train speakers, I want them to have their first experience or their continuing experience speaking with me. And I will create that stage. And also, there are established speakers who want to have that impact before a larger audience. I want to be that stage. Okay, so that's what my future is going to be. And it's not just going to be in Europe, because Africa and places like that, which are up and coming, where women do not have the same freedoms, and also gay people do not have the same freedoms that we have here in Europe and in the West. They need a voice, and they need people to come along. And, sometimes you have a voice and you're afraid to use it. Maybe we need to be brave enough to step up and speak for those who cannot yet speak for themselves. And for that, we need way more speakers than we have now. So that's my first goal. Next year, I am planning at least 4 events. Hopefully, one of them, if I'm blessed again and health permitting, will be Les Brown in London again. But I can't say more about that because, we're still negotiating. And who knows where that's going to be, who's going to be on that stage. Just keep in touch. I'm on Al Grant as my personal Facebook profile. Althea Grant, Althea Motivator, Motivator, all one word. That's my business page, or my quote unquote fan page. I don't like that word. I'm on Twitter, again, as Althea Motivator. I'm on, what's the other one called? Instagram. Again, Althea Motivator. I'm a little bit old for all this social media stuff. But, you know, old has never stopped me yet. And, let me see. My website has been redone from Les Brown in London because I created that brand, much to the chagrin of many people who claim that they did it. I did it, and not with their help. It's the help of many, many people, but not with the help of many of those who are claiming that they did Les Brown in London. They would love to have done it.
I love it. There's the naysayers again.
Exactly. So very soon, altheagrant.com will be back up, and also the ultimate speakerpreneur, because I want to create speakers who are entrepreneurs and entrepreneurs who are speakers. The thing you asked me before about how do we go on and rise as speakers, every speaker's duty to themselves is what's in it for them, as in the audience, but you have to have asked and answered the question, what's in it for me? How can I make this a success so that I reach all the people that I need to reach? And one way is to make sure that you're an entrepreneur as a speaker. You make money. Money is not a dirty word when it's a servant. It's a dirty word when money is a master. Never let money master you. You master it. It's a tool for you to conquer the world and make the impact that you were born on purpose for a purpose to do. And that's where I am. So ultimatespeakerpreneur.com will come back up soon. That's the event website. That's the Women's Empowerment website and my business name. And also altheagrant.com will come back up, and you will see lives and all the rest of it.
Feel free to share whatever links you want in the comments. We've got Jill Shelton saying it's just what's needed. The event in January was fab. I've thoroughly enjoyed interviewing you today, Al. I can't wait to speak at one of your future events and hopefully share the stage with you, because you really have got the best energy, and I've thoroughly enjoyed interviewing you today. Thank you so much for being on Brilliant Speaker. Thank you everyone for watching, and we'll see you all soon. Thank you, Al.
Thank you. And sorry about the coffee shop thing. I wouldn't have got home.
We've got a great interview, so I'm happy.
Thank you, my darling. Thank you, everyone.
Bye, everyone. Take care. Bye.